welcome back. This is what the Raspberry Pi Pico looks like. Now, this is not the one I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using the Raspberry Pi Pico W. And as you can see, there's a silver chip on this one. And there's no silver chip on this one. The silver chip is actually the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth module. So this is the one I would recommend everyone get. You can use the other one and buy some add-ons to make it work. However, this is just a much nicer compact system, and I would highly recommend this one instead. So Raspberry Pi Pico W, this is what we're going to be using. It has 20 pins at the bottom here, 20 pins at the top. It has micro USB as its method of connection. Not the best thing to use now in 2023, but it's what we have to work with. As I mentioned, we have Wi-Fi there, and we're not going to need much else from this chip, so I'm going to put this to one side and show you all the other components. What else do we have? The main thing, let's move everything else aside, put that off. This is a breadboard, and the way this works, quite simply, the ones in the middle, so this entire section here, all of this section here, these are connected vertically, meaning, let's go over to the first one. Let's say I have something in the one there that says A. I have something in the very first port on A. That same thing is connected to every single thing down to E. And because there's a break in the breadboard, everything from F down to J is also connected, but it breaks here. So E and F are separate. This is going to be the way that we're going to be using the Raspberry Pi Pico W. This is the way I'm going to be connecting everything using a breadboard. Those two lines at the top, plus and minus, red and dark blue, I guess, or light blue, and the two lines at the bottom, those are connected horizontally. So they go that way, whereas the other ones go that way, right? So everything all the way from this first pin here, all the way down to just before the board breaks, that's connected together. So if I connect that pin here to ground, everything going across is automatically also connected to ground. I'm going to try and explain it while I'm doing it a bit more, but that's just a quick rundown of it. Breadboard to one side. The other thing I have here are my LEDs. I have a green LED and a red LED, right? These are very cheap. You can buy them on Amazon, eBay. I think they normally come in packs of like 50 or 100 for maybe £2, £5, something along those lines. This is going to be what I use to turn the lights on and off. So these are the actual lights. These are LEDs. So when you have small components and you see the LED flashing, it's just a smaller version of this. This has been made this size so that we can work with it on a breadboard. Put that to one side. Next we have our resistors. Here we go. This is what resistors actually look like. Let's get that in focus. Yeah, this is what resistors actually look like. And these resistors, I believe, are 330 ohms. Right, so these should work perfectly fine with our LEDs. Put that to one side as well. The next thing we have is we have our buzzer. Now, I've already connected it to two jumper cables here just to make my life a bit easier, but it normally just comes like this with two tiny pins at the very bottom there. That's how it normally comes. Put that to one side, put the cables to we have jumper cables as well, to be fair. So all of these are jumper cables. And in the mess here, I have a toggle switch. This is larger than the average. These are very old toggle switches. You can find these on eBay and Amazon as well. But I've had this one for years and years. It works perfectly fine. It does fit into a breadboard with a bit of squeeze. And it's very solid. So I like to use this one. I do have some cheaper ones, but they don't tend to work as well. And finally, let's put that to one side as well. Again, these are the jumper cables I'm going to be using. Nothing special about them. All of these are male to male jumper cables, meaning they both have the pokey bit at the end that goes into the breadboard and very easy to connect. Finally, we have our micro USB cable. Nothing at all special here. This is just to power the Raspberry Pi Pico W, and so that we can send the instructions from it to it from our PC. So these are the components we're going to be using. So again, the way this system should work, the Raspberry Pi Pico W is going to have the program on there. I forgot to show my motion sensor. Here we go. This is a PIR, a motion sensor. right? Very simple, very cheap, less than £2, I think. You can pop the lid off this to make it more sensitive, because this does just hide it and protect the sensor underneath. This is what it looks like. I've got 3 cables here coming out, and I've got 2 potentiometers here, 2 variable things I can change. Let's just leave it at that. One of them, I don't remember which one it is. I'll have to check the data sheet again. One of them is for time, and the other one would be for distance. So time is how often does this thing actually pulse or pole and check for motion, and distance would be, let's say, I don't know, 1 feet, 3 feet, 10 feet, whatever the case is. So this is what we're going to be using. This is our motion sensor. Very simple, very nice, very cheap, and I believe that was everything. So just wanted to introduce you guys to things that I'm going to be using. You can buy the same stuff, you can use different sensors, different components, but I just wanted to introduce it. So let's go.